Dragon Ball Z card strategy here, showing another one of our local matches. This one was actually a little while ago. We have one of the players here, Cruz. Cruz, of course, led our play group for quite a while. He's, of course, had some work that gets in the way. Life has a way of doing that. But he made an appearance and got to play an amazing match. We have an interesting clash of eras. As you know, Blue Ginyu was the king of the ally matches for probably the first almost year, almost 2 years. And then, of course, Blue Android 13 is a strong contender for being one of the stronger ones. I guess you could say Blue Broku might be another one, but I don't see that one done well as often as these two matches. Cruz is handling a quick card count. Make sure everything's there. Some days he has to reassemble his deck before the matches, so you know how that can be. So you're going to see a pair of blue tag masteries go off on each player's first turn. Ginyu, as you know, has some of the strongest ally synergy in the game. So many of his attacks and cards and pretty much everything about it interacting with allies in some way. Android 13, of course, has similar synergy. Okay, Cruz rolls a 4. CJ does his roll. And then CJ will be getting the opening turn. He's going to go ahead and get out his first ally. He grabs Cooler. Cooler's going to be a pretty effective one. If anyone remembers, this Cooler blocks cards that auto-advance players. So, a lot of Android 13's abilities, the ability to go ahead and, banish the allies and level up is considered a card effect that advances a character, so it wouldn't work. Okay, CJ ends his very first turn. Rejuvenating a card, passing, put Android presence in his discard, and at the beginning of Cruz's turn, he's going to go ahead and use his own Mastery's effect. Or at least he ought to be. CJ. Okay, CJ remembers to go ahead and do that now. No problem at all. Grabs one of the androids. I want to say that's 15. I always mixed up 15 and 14. For some reason, I can never keep those straight. Okay, and then now he's had it complete that effect. And then Cruz is going to go ahead and cut, and now it's going to be CJ's going to draw his 3 to begin combat. Okay, a very effective opening move. Stare Down's going to go ahead and get a card out of CJ's hand and going to go ahead and even things out. That does make it a little trickier. I apologize. There it goes. Because he has that level 1 Captain Ginyu energy attack that's going to be pretty important, so he's going to go ahead and get rid of CJ's energy block. That's not CJ's action. He's going to go ahead and use Android Headbutt, which is going to go ahead and automatically raise his anger 2 levels, 1 from the card and then 1 from Android 13's level 1 ability. Okay, 4 life card hit does hit Cruz. Cruz endures it, so it only does 2 life cards total. He's going to go ahead and use Blue Clash, an unpreventable 4 life card energy attack. That one, of course, would allow him to pull back an ally from the banish zone if there was any in there. But with the hit effect, he's going to go ahead and search his life deck for an ally instead. Okay, Frieza would be a good choice. As you know, the Frieza ally says that all damage is banished, So this means as you take damage from power stages, other powers, life cards, everything simply goes to the banish zone. Tricky part is, of course, it does mean both players. So this means that if Cruz takes damage, he also will have his life card be banished. Okay, CJ is going to go ahead and use Wall Breaker. Okay, it's going to hit for 3 stages of damage. You're going to auto-attach to Ginyu, and Ginyu can no longer raise his anger. Of course, until he does critical damage. Well, that's usually pretty effective, but a lot of times the ally decks usually just camp on one level or another, usually level 1, and it's usually not very much of an issue. Ginyu's energy attack, his level 1 power is going to hit, and it's going to be 4 life cards of damage, and the damage should be all banished, but we'll take care of that in a second. Okay, he pulls out Goldo. Okay, search, cut a deck. Okay, 4 life cards, like I said, damage is all banished due to Freeze's effect. Okay, 5 life cards altogether. Okay, with Ginyu's hit effect, he chooses Frieza to be able to make actions on his behalf. He uses Cooler's power, rejuvenates 1. That's of course activatable since Ginyu is low enough in power stages to be able to allow his allies to be able to make actions. Okay, combat ends. He's going to hold on to Lunar Ray. That, of course, is going to be an important tool to be able to pull allies back from the discard pile, so he's going to want to hold on to that in case CJ should start critting or otherwise destroying his allies. Of course, Android 17 ally Beckoning is placed into play. Did I forget his effect? I believe that's a life card, a physical attack that does more for all setups in play. He's going to grab a non-style card and rejuvenate it. Okay, he's going to activate level 1, Android 13's effect. Go ahead and search Android 13's impenetrable defense. He banishes the impenetrable defense, so go ahead and raise his anger 2 levels. The speed anger on Android 13 can be pretty effective. It's been a bit since Cruz had the chance to play, so the whole rise of 13 was a while ago for him. Well, it's actually a couple of different steps there, in case you don't know, that the Android 13's impenetrable defense, the ally's effect pulls it from the deck, and then it gets destroyed, and then its own effect says when this card is destroyed, you can choose to banish it. So it really is 2 steps. Okay, CJ is going to be confident up. He's going to enter combat. Cruz draws his 3. He's going to go ahead and Wall Breaker good old Cruz the second time. Okay, he used up Goldo's blocking effect, which is actually a pretty wise idea. He was already at 0, so any power stages he had would go to an ally. If he didn't have enough stages, his damage would start getting banished. So you wouldn't want to get damage banished for such a weak attack.
You're going to do it to me every time.
Cruz is weighing out his options. He probably has a specific order he wants to play things in. I can't quite see his hand. Okay, he is going to go ahead and perform Lunar Ray after all.
6 life and 2 stages all banished.
6 life.
2 stages, 6 life.
He probably should have taken the damage on an ally, because he would need Android 13's power stages to be higher in order to get better damage for physical attacks. So it doesn't do it. No, I don't believe that would work. That the damage being, because it's destroyed first and then banished. Okay, I'd actually have to look that up to see if Impenetrable Defense's effect could be activated in order to actually do that. I assume that it could because it's probably discarded first and then banished. But I remember you couldn't target a card that was already being banished. Okay, the critical damage effect, of course, destroys good old Wall Breaker, or banishes Wall Breaker, and then, of course, the Android ally is discarded from the critical damage effect. However, he is level 2, which is going to make this pretty straightforward for leveling. Oh, I keep forgetting, as long as Cooler lives, that's going to be very difficult. Okay, that's CJ's attack to stop the blue shifting maneuver. That's the blue Omni block. Cruz again weighing his options. Okay, he passes his turn. Blue head knock. It's used against Cruz. Cruz, I believe, has a setup in his hand. Blue battle readiness, I believe. And he is going to have to use Time as a Warrior's Tool to avoid taking the damage. That would have been too significant, especially with the banished damage. He uses Cooler's effect to rejuvenate Time to the bottom of his deck. That's back over to CJ. CJ does end his turn, and is now Cruz's turn again. He's going to draw his 3, so he should be dropping blue battle readiness now. There we go. And a blue stretch kick, that's of course a setup that's also a physical attack. Powers up himself and all of his allies. We have 2 cards left in his hands. Looks like 2 energy blocks, I believe. Cruz is doing the rule, of course, that the the contents of each discard pile and banish zone are public knowledge at all times. So he's going to go ahead and double check and see where things are likely to be. If some cards have already hit the discard and banish zone, Cruz knows how to take his time in a match. If you ever feel pressured in a tournament, that is to say you're facing an opponent who has a tendency to try to push the match to go faster than it should, you have every right to go ahead and go as slow as you wish, provided you're not doing what's called slow play. Take time. Consider all your decisions, all your options. I believe I see a block in his hand, the blue block that destroys an ally, or the one that destroys setups and drills. Fairly seldom does Cruz throw any physical, so that's a hard time. Okay, blue head knock has been placed to CJ passes, rejuvenates, blue head knock. Okay, the second blue battle readiness is in play. So CJ might be making one crucial error, just that he's allowing Cruz too much time to set up. As you know, ally decks are similar to drill decks in that way that if you give them too much time to set up, they'll build a wall too large to be able to fight through.
I'm not trying to be cocky. I just like, I don't know what to do.
Mine's actually been running better this year. I don't see why yours all of a sudden stopped running well.
Cruz is definitely in a pretty good position, having setups and allies already in play. It looks like he's carrying, looks like blue leverage. That's the one that could de-level an opponent, which could be very effective if he could get it onto CJ at the right moment. He would have to catch it when he has 1 anger and reduce it to 0, so it's kind of a tricky balance. Besides, it's too risky. He rejuvenates. Blue Takedown is actually named the card. Okay, it's CJ's turn again. He draws 3 cards. Looks like he's got Clash in his hand. Blue Clash. So he has an energy attack. He powers up good old 17. Okay, CJ is going to be confident enough to declare combat. CJ was noticing Cruz must have been looking in on the match that was nearby.
What would it do and what's the effect?
He's using level 2 Android 13's effect. That's the one, of course, that lets him, has the hit effect. It auto skips Cruz's next action, but it also lets him rejuvenate an Android card, which in this case would probably be an Android 13's defense. Impenetrable defense, which is what I'd target. Okay, he does not want to take the chance. He does stop it with blue shifting maneuver. Okay, and then of course go to CJ's second action. He's going to go and fire off overpowering attack, which is going to, of course, allow him to pull an ally from the deck. Which is exactly what I would do. He pulled the other pair of the androids that 13 always runs with. Okay, this is going to allow him to immediately seek out another Android 13's impenetrable defense and then destroy it. And like we said, in the process, that will go ahead and give him the option to banish it if he likes. Okay, it's going to be 5 life cards, 2 stages, and damage is all banished. And then who will take the 2 stages over there? Cruz? I think they both of them might have missed the 2-stage damage. They probably won't make a great deal of difference, but
Same card.
okay, so good old Ginyu does end up taking that one, unless he's using the level 1 power. Cruz is weighing out his options. He's going to go ahead and pull out Birder.
2 stages for life, all matched.
Okay, so he was in fact using good old Ginyu's level 1 power. And this one is going to hit, and he's going to go ahead and only take 3 life cards off the 4. And that damage is all banished because, of course, freezes continued presence. CJ has a few options in his hand. He's going to go ahead and use Andrew. Oh, I don't believe he can because of Cooler's power. Okay, he is, however, going to have 4 Android named cards. So unless I'm mistaken about the Cooler Allies effect, he is going to go ahead and use it to advance to level 3, which, of course, is going to even the match up quite a bit. Cruz has a couple of different options open to him. He's going to want to hold on to Stretch Kick because there's simply too many different ways for CJ to absorb that stage damage and not taking life card damage. Okay, he's going to use Blue Lunge. That's one that makes him reveal the top 5 cards of the deck and then place any setup or drill, or one of the setup or drill that he finds into play. And then, of course, the rest go to the bottom of the life deck in the order that he chooses. He is going to go ahead and pull out Villainous Visage. Okay, he has 7 stages to take. Definitely divert it to an ally. Okay, he's going to use another Android name card. It's going to go ahead and raise anger automatically for. He still has Goldo in play for a block, so that can still be used if Cruz really doesn't want to take the damage. He does exactly what you think. He does stop it with Goldo's effect. Oh. Okay, so he is actually going to take the damage, probably to go ahead and shoot back Villainous Visage for 8. Most likely. Let's Birdo take the stage damage. And he does indeed take the full life card damage.
Miss a trade.
There we go. That's exactly what I would assume he would do. That's a controlled situation, so he doesn't have to take an egregious amount of damage, but can still push out Villainous Visage to be able to damage CJ back through the destroying the milling from the top of the deck. Okay, he does use another Android card. He does discard a card from his hand in order to create a critical damage effect. And I believe Cruz is using blue battle readiness to go ahead and pull back another ally. Oh, he also pulls out Android 17. I'm going to say he probably should discard one of those blue battle readinesses. There we go. Okay, that was Cruz's actions. Back over to CJ. I'm not sure if he's used Android 13's physical attack yet.
That's my new
Okay, Android 13's physical, unfortunately, is blocked by Goldo. If basically that order had been slightly different, Goldo had managed to spend one action in the discard pile and 13's effect had gone off, almost every effect on Cruz's side would be turned off from 13's effect.
4, 5, 6, 7 stages.
Okay, he hits him with Sagacious Strike.
What do you have? Still 2. 7 stages, 2 life.
Okay, he takes 7 stages and 2 life cards from the Sagacious Strike, which is actually pretty outrageous because normally Sagacious Strike is not a hard hitter.
Vanish there, and then with this, crit for 2 fortune.
Okay, now Sagacious Strike is always considered to do critical damage, so he does destroy 14 or 15, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, it looks like 14. I always get those two mixed up. Okay, CJ's out of actions, so it is now Cruz's turn. So if you were to fight Cruz, this is about where his deck is going to be as strong as it's going to be. He has, of course, all the different bonuses in play. Uh-oh, he uses 17's attack to go ahead and do pretty significant damage with the bonuses from the setups in play and, of course, all the buffs from the allies. So he does banish the 1 card to absorb all the damage, so it wasn't too bad. If you get to the point where you let it build up a wall of allies, you probably should have a secondary win condition over, say, beating him down to try to win. Because it would be a lot of enemies to fight through. You'd have to crit him so many times in order to do that. Really easy strategy that I found. I forget the name of it, actually. It's a Saiyan-style energy attack that basically will annihilate an entire squad of Ginyus in one blast. The other one, of course, is making Gut Punch. Provided your significant level, it can overload any deck's ability to keep allies in play, even a Capt Ginyu. Okay, Cruz is debating whether or not to use Stretch Kick.
4 stages.
Takes the 4 power stages.
5, 6, 7 life.
And 7 life cards, all banished. Okay. You can't with the mastery. Okay, so he ends up targeting, of course, CJ's Anger, because, of course, the last ally can't be critted, just like the ultimate knowledge him in Dragon Balls. Cruz might be looking to prolong this combat.
9 stages, 2 life.
Okay, he's going to go and use Blue Stretch Kick again, and he's going to go ahead and attack. Just taking the damage. He's got pretty good endurance, but it is still have critical damage. It is still all banished.
Nothing to crit because he's protected.
Oh yeah, Cell's draining attack, which is funny. If you read into the effect pretty deeply like we do, it sounds like he's actually eating the entire Ginyu force, gorging himself, if you will. Okay, that turn ends. Cruz is actually going to begin a brand new turn. He's got to take a few moments to power up all of his various allies. This can take a few moments.
I happen to see that and I'm like, oh, I got to comment on this.
Okay, we're going to declare combat. It looks like CJ might be in the last handful of cards in his deck. I I can see probably somewhere between 4 and 7 life cards. Stare down is, of course, going to come at an unfortunately crucial time. CJ did not have much in his hand. Looks like he had Villainous Energy Beam. It looks like 2 physical blue leverage blocks. So that was going to be a very difficult one to survive, if at all. The energy attacks out there between Ginyu and all the other ones, and Jace and everything. We're going to seal this match in probably 1 action. Unless Cruz spontaneously has a handful of, has a handful of physical attacks. Unlikely.
Effect is my continuous turns, right? All connections?
Cruz is debating whether or not to take good old 13's effect. And I just realized something. I'm not sure if they actually did that entering combat effect, because Cruz should actually get 2 different actions at the beginning of combat, unless he passed one of those. Not Cruz, CJ should get 2 different effects because of Android 13's entering combat effect. I didn't notice if that simply got skipped or if it went to simply that CJ just didn't have 2 actions. Because even though Cruz initiated combat, he wouldn't get the initial action. You remember, 13 steals that away from you. He basically gets the first action no matter what.
Same thing I did against Seth. Vanished. When Seth was using his MPBB deck, I totally spaced that he has an MPBB deck, so I was just trying to get myself to 4. So like,
Okay, it's coming right down to it.
I started setting up, and I looked up and he has a 3 anger on his level 3.
He's used.
I was like, I guarantee there's almost no way I could win, but I tried.
See what's gonna happen here.
I keep doing crits and stuff because I can only unload.
And looks like it is over. Yep, Blue Lunar Ray is all he needed, 1 energy attack. And Cruz goes for the kill. And not enough endurance, the game is over. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what you've seen there is Cruz's attack is, of course, to surround and overwhelm. He begins the attacks and, of course, the buffs plus the banish. Most decks become overwhelmed. Just remember, like we said, just like fighting an orange, you don't let him set up. Winner, of course, Ginyu, big time survival.